Hello YouTube, Gaming Goddess here doing a review on Robotech Battlecry for the PlayStation 2. This game can also be played on Xbox and GameCube. When I picked up this game, it actually looked really cool, and usually I don't play mech games, but I'm actually extremely disappointed with it. We play as a pilot named Jack Archer, and in the opening cutscene we learn a little bit about him and his past before the events of the game. There are also some other characters, but there's absolutely no character development whatsoever, so they just kind of sit off to the side and talk when they need to, or at least that's how it felt to me. The mechanics and gameplay is probably my biggest issue with this whole game. Seriously, the controls are just so wacky. I had to switch it to inverted, which wasn't really inverted at all, and on top of that, the different modes that you have for your mech, one of the modes was actually extremely complicated to maneuver with. He was just moving on his own and I had no control over it. I don't know if that was a flaw in the game itself or if that was just something that happened in that mode specifically. Another thing was the invisible walls. I would be flying around the city or in space or whatever, and then I would try to go somewhere specifically and I would be stopped by an invisible wall. That's no fun at all. And of course, buildings explode when I shoot them. I get a mission to protect a building, and of course all the enemies are going to be shooting at that one building, but if I hit it once, the entire building comes falling down and I fail the mission, but the enemies can shoot it like 6 or 7 times and the building won't explode. Maybe these types of mechanics work for some people, but for me, it just wasn't cutting it. I don't like it, period. As for the graphics, they're actually pretty good. They don't look super cheesy or anything like that, and the animation actually flows pretty well in both the cutscenes and during regular gameplay. The soundtrack, on the other hand, wasn't the best. The music sounded really depressing throughout most of the missions and most of the cutscenes. Honestly, I feel like they could have had it a little more upbeat since it is a mech game. I feel that mechs need more of a hardcore soundtrack to it than a depressing soundtrack. Now for the pros and cons. Pros for this game, in my opinion, would be that the game story is actually really good. I personally enjoyed it, even though there wasn't too much character development or any character development at all. I still had a good insight on what was going on through the story. Another pro for me would be that this game is actually really short. I probably beat it in maybe like 5 hours, so if you're looking for a quick game to just play and have fun with, this would probably be something you would like. As for the cons, everything else would fall in this category. I didn't like the gameplay at all. The soundtrack wasn't the best. Maneuvering the mech is extremely difficult in certain modes. There's invisible walls everywhere, and buildings explode when I accidentally shoot them. Robotech Battlecry just isn't a game I would ever play again, even if my life depended on it. I don't see how it got such a good reputation when I found so many flaws in it. Though, I guess this could just be one of those games you play with your buddy for a good laugh at how goofy some of the stuff is. Now, there is a versus mode, but I wouldn't know if it's any better than the actual story, since I have no one to play with me at the moment that this game was recorded. But who knows, maybe some of you will actually enjoy this game a lot more than I did, but one thing's for sure, I wouldn't recommend anyone to play it. Overall, I have to rate this game a 4.5 out of 10. This has been a Gaming Goddess review, and remember to keep on gaming.